Learn how to build a better sign and print shop from a few crusty sign guys who've made more mistakes than they care to admit. Conversations and advice on pricing, sales, marketing, workflow, growth, and more. You're listening to the Better Sign Shop Podcast with your hosts, Peter Kourounis, Michael Riley, and Bryant Gillespie.
All right, guys, welcome to the next edition of the Better Sign Shop Podcast. Bryant Gillespie here, and as always, I've got my friends and colleagues, the Sign Shop Yoda, Peter Kourounis, and the Sign Burrito, Michael Riley. We need to get another nickname. I feel like we have to switch
episode.
It's Mayor McCheese, Sign Burrito. If you're listening to this right now, send us your suggestions for Mike's nickname on the next episode. We want to hear from you.
We need to hop on Jasper and let a computer give me a nickname and see what it comes up with.
Yeah, let's get some AI involved. The Terminator give you a new nickname. Hey, so what's new with you guys before we dive into all things customer experience?
I'm getting married in 2 weeks, so I'm stressed beyond belief right now. It's crazy.
What's your stress level at? 1 to 10.
Oh, it's cranked up to 11, man. It's just
it's full Spinal Tap.
Yeah, I'm handling it well. It's a lot of internal stress. We have a lot of balls in the air right now, trying to get some stuff done in the house. We have a bunch of guests that are going to stay here, so we're trying to get bathrooms done and siding done, and the house is just a wreck. So,
but you're not even stressed about the wedding part or like getting married or any of that. It's just, hey, we got guests coming to the house.
The guests are the most stressful part. Yeah, no, we don't know what we're going to do for food for the wedding yet, so it's a little up in the air, which is a big thing. So we need to figure that out. But no, the wedding plans are pretty solid. That's for the most part under control. I'm sure that the shit will hit the fan when people start arriving here and parents and people get involved and trying to help and everything. But yeah, it's really just all the prep work, trying to get ready, and then I'm going to shut the business down for a week and a half to go on honeymoon and everything like that. So just trying to get everything done and ready.
I got one question for you, Michael. One question.
Lay it on me. What's that?
Who was that amazing photographer that you had?
We hired a local wedding photographer. He's a pretty talented guy. He's done quite a bit of, I think, nature and landscape photography. He's published a few books on like photo books as well. But it's a Pat, my future wife on the back. She went to school for photography. She's got a degree in fine art photography, and she was a wedding photographer herself for many years.
Wow.
So he just sent us the raw files, which were fairly unimpressive. They were nice. They were composed and framed, but she actually did all the editing on them.
Oh, get out of here. Oh my God, because I was going to give your photographer all the accolades. Those were the best photos I have ever seen. And I think I commented that sincerely.
Yeah.
I literally thought my wedding photos might have been the best, but that wasn't until I saw your photos. So whoever touched them up, whether it be your wife or the photographer, the best. If you haven't seen it and you're friends with Mike, go check it out. They are literally the best. I guess, what is it? Is that like a wedding photo, engagement photo? What was that? What was it?
Yeah, that was just an engagement photo session that we did because she wanted to have a picture of us that we could send out with the wedding invites. So we just did a quick 1 hour beach session with the guy out at sunset.
Amazing.
So yeah, having a beautiful spot like that to have pictures taken as well really helps. Having a background as beautiful as that. Doesn't matter what the photo looks like. There's no such thing as a bad picture when you're at the Oregon coast. So, but no, she's a photo editing master. She's really good at it. So she can take just a crappy picture and turn it into a pretty impressive work of art. So
I've seen some masterpieces as well.
Oh yeah, I know she's made a few. Photoshop she's good at it. Thank you, Peter. Yeah, we were really happy. I'm excited to see how the actual wedding photos come out. He's going to be the same photographer for the wedding, and the wedding's actually going to be on that beach as well. That'll be our backdrop for the wedding. So the only thing that we're worried about is when we took those photos in mid-July, when the weather is pretty much perfect out there, but the wedding is in late September, which could very well be 50 degrees, pouring down rain, sideways wind. Just the weather is unpredictable in the fall out there. So we're a little nervous that the wedding is going to have to be either moved inside or we're just going to get married in the pouring down rain on the beach. which I'm all for. Like, I think that's going to be awesome to get married in the rain. If you're going to have an Oregon beach wedding,
Prepare for rain.
Rain should be involved, I think. I mean, it's just par for the course.
It rained on my wedding. Don't tell my wife that. She hates to be reminded. It rained on my wedding. And it was devastating because we picked this venue for an outdoor venue. And then we got huddled into this like small little room. So it was not the best scenario. Still a great party all around.
You're getting married. It doesn't matter. Like, you're getting married, just suck it up and do it. And we're trying to brace ourselves. Yeah. Like, I'm actually like secretly sort of hoping it rains because I love the rain. That's why I live in Oregon, because it rains so much here. I just think it's beautiful. And like a rainy day at the Oregon coast is just otherworldly beautiful. But she's a little less enthusiastic about it raining. So we'll kind of ride the fence here.
I don't blame her.
What about you guys? What have you guys been up to?
I'm planning something, but not planning a wedding. I'm planning my son's second birthday and my other son's baptism. So they are within 8 days of each other. So it's a lot of... I'm just going to throw this out there because, Bryant, you got kids. Did you baptize your daughters?
Yes.
Okay.
We're not Catholic or anything like that, though.
That's all right. That's all right. The first one, my first son, it was a full-out party. Like a full-out extravaganza. I had dozens and dozens of people at my house. I rented everything, including, like, the camel at my house. This one, let's just do it at a restaurant. I swear to you, I feel awful. I feel awful about it. But I'm just like, there's a birthday with the first kid, and then there's a christening or baptism the second time, like for the second kid. And I'm like, this is too much money happening at the same time. So I'm just gonna listen. It's a baptism and it's a birthday. We're just going to do the birthday at home and we're going to do the baptism at a restaurant. And my wife and I are feeling so guilty about it because when my second son gets older, I'm afraid he's going to ask, like, why didn't you throw? I feel like I'm damaging his being by this. It was not as exciting as the first one. And here I am just feeling bad that my second son happens to be just born second.
We're on the third kid, okay? Like, I know you're just now on the second kid. That's like the second kid, you're like, but when you get to the third kid, you're like whatever, fuck it. Yeah, the first kid, like, we did all the baby proofing, all the stuff, all the little things and the outlets and all that stuff. And now it's just like you knock yourself out. Oh, you want to run around outside? You want to ride your bike without knee pads and stuff like that? Like, fine, get after it. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Don't feel bad, man. Don't feel guilty about it.
I've heard that's the way it goes with kids. Like, with every subsequent one you have, like, your helicopter parenting just goes down a notch or two until you're just like, they'll survive. Like, whatever.
Yeah, this is 100% true.
Yeah. See, I'm skipping all that young stuff too. I'm inheriting a 15-year-old stepdaughter, which is awesome. She's cool, but she's already grown up, and so I don't have to worry too much about all the...
About her just dying on a daily basis from self-inflicted death.
No, actually, I still worry about that for other reasons, though. She's not always the best at the logical decision-making still, but less so, I probably expect, than you guys with your young ones.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, so what's the topic today, guys?
Today, we are talking about customer experience and what you can do to improve your customer experience, what makes customers keep coming back and buying from you, I think, in the first place. And we're going to bring on a guest today. A lot of people probably know the guy, TJ Bedacht. He owns GCI Digital Imaging down in Cincinnati, Ohio. If you spend any time on any of the Facebook forums like those damn sign guys or sign shop talk or anything like that, you will inevitably seen TJ's name thrown about quite a bit. He seems to be pretty much the go-to guy for anybody who needs some big wide format digital printing or a fleet of wraps printed, or you're just like totally in a rut and need somebody to save your ass. It seems like TJ is like the Superman. Apparently he's doing something right. I don't know the guy personally, but I reached out to him to bring him on the show because everybody raves about him and his service, and everybody just says he will bend over backwards for you every single time and get it done and knock it out of the ballpark. And on a rare occasion he doesn't. He'll be Johnny on the spot to make it right for you. So he's definitely delivering some sort of exceptional customer experience, and I want to know what and why and how. So I'm excited to talk to the guy.
Do we just bring him on now? he's in the lobby.
Yeah. Let's go ahead and let's bring him on. He just sent me a message. He's waiting.
Okay. All right.
So welcome, TJ Bedacht. TJ, did I say your last name right? Bedacht?
Yep.
Awesome.
Absolutely.
All right. I didn't want to butcher your name there. Welcome to TJ Bedacht from GCI Digital Imaging. How you doing, TJ?
Doing wonderful.
Awesome.
Glad to have you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for joining us, especially on such short notice. We just reached out to you this week on it, so thank you for dropping everything to accommodate us here. So to start, just give us the quick rundown, like the nickel experience of your company and how you got into the industry, what led you to where you're at, and we'll go from there.
The nickel experience? I've never heard that.
The 10-cent tour.
The 10
The
cent
10
tour.
cent tour. There you
Okay.
go.
I might give you the 25.
All right, that works.
So once again, TJ Bedacht, GCI Digital. We're based out of Cincinnati, Ohio. Family-owned business. My dad and I took it from a 3-man operation out of the basement of his house. We were retail for a number of years. And when I was finishing high school in 2001, I don't know where that puts you guys, but 2001 was a very interesting year. Started calling wholesale vehicle wrap companies, fast signs locally. Saw a very interesting niche. And we had equipment that nobody else wanted, didn't have the space for. My dad, my grandpa kind of bred it into me. I'm 4th generation. My grandpa always said, buy something that nobody else can. And you'll have great success in it. Build it, they will come type of theory. And so we were buying 10-foot machines when everybody else had 5-foot, 4-foot. So we started printing banners, lots of them. We're printing right now, we're 40,000, 50,000 square foot per day in banner work.
Wow.
We're running 1,000 sheets through the flatbed department. 72,000 grommets in a week. The task of what we've built is quite interesting. To feed the beast is, you call me on a Saturday night at 10 o'clock and say, TJ, we have an emergency. There's not too many people that are going to answer the phone, but to go in, get the estimate done, accept the order on a Saturday night. That's just what I do. It gets me up every morning.
Well,
Just
that's why
belting out sign guys left and right, huh?
Yep.
that's why I wanted to have you on the podcast, TJ, because if you spend any time on any of the Facebook sign industry groups, your name is inevitably going to come up as the guy who's going to swoop in and save the day when somebody's printer shit the bed or they've got an impossible deadline that they just flat out cannot meet. I don't personally know how you do it. It's mind-boggling to me. I know you've got a big staff and some serious firepower at your shop to fulfill those orders, but still, like, there's a human element to it that's just, it's impressive. And like I said, what we wanted to talk about today was cultivating and creating a great customer experience. And you're clearly doing something right in that regard, because these guys almost, they stop short of worshiping the ground you walk on, I would say. It's pretty impressive. So how did you get to that point? How do you approach that customer experience and
Teamwork
get it
makes
done?
dream work. Teamwork makes dreams work. Every single one of my customers has my cell phone. It's those things to where my wife and the kids get it. We've slept in the truck delivering a job on a Friday night in North Carolina. My staff has worked all night to give me the proper product to make that drive. The kids helping pound the last couple grommets. The wife's helping me fold the banners up. It's been fun. Very passionate about it. We have one of the best teams in the industry, for sure.
Yeah. How do you maintain that passion for the industry? Because you and I
have no idea. I have no idea.
You and I were in a similar market. I was 50 miles north of you, and we had some crossover customers like we were talking about. Some of them are crazier than others. It's a hard industry. It's an industry that will definitely grind you down, especially when on the end of the industry that you were in and that I was in, where everything's a rush job. Everything's got to have it right now. And printers don't always work the way you want them to. You get head strikes, things just go sideways on you, and it can be super stressful. How do you maintain such a positive outlook? Because that's something else that I notice is you don't see you complaining and bitching and moaning a lot on those forums. You maintain a pretty level head and a positive outlook, which is unusual in this industry.
One of my big things with all of my customers, I say, how soon do you need it? And like, for example, it's 12:30 on a Thursday right now. My event's Friday. I got to install for my customer. I'm like, okay, but you haven't ordered it yet. What time does the event start? So then I back into it. Okay, when do I have to have it out the door? Are we going to chance it with UPS or FedEx? Are we going to drive it straight there? And they're like, drive it? it's 10 hours. I'm like, do you want it or not? That whole thing. We've dealt the dashed projects before up to New York and stuff like that. There's not an option. You have to get these jobs done. And my dad, my grandpa, it's your reputation. It's the company name. You have to make it happen no matter what. I have to print faster than fast signs. I have to deliver for all these agencies and brokers and sign shops, because at the end of the day, if they lose that account, it could be they lost their largest customer because of TJ in Cincinnati. He didn't deliver it. I don't accept a loss ever, even if UPS loses a package. My truck's got a full tank of gas in it right now. I'll be there in a few hours. Bear with me. And that's just the motto that we've always had. My dad's hopped on an airplane. It was like a $2,200 airline ticket for a powerboat race down in Fort Myers, Florida. And I put him on an airplane because UPS lost it. He went and delivered that banner the afternoon. It was like a Friday afternoon. He was very mad that I sent him to Florida. But the customer got it. And it was only a $150 banner. But I had to get it there because the guy, he was so pissed. And it was just one of those things where you have to talk people off the ledge sometimes. And I'd rather just make it right than put a bad taste in somebody's mouth. So the customer experience is very important here at the shop. Miss Patricia is, if you guys call the shop, she's basically, she helps me keep my sanity. She's my right hand. She handles all of my orders. I still enter all of our orders right now. I know that you guys have some things that I want to talk to you guys about after the podcast and everything to help simplify my life. We've got some online ordering systems in place to where people will be able to upload automatic proof. And now it's going to go straight to the printer. So it's going to bypass our pre-press department. Where we are trying to get to is to where it will auto tag it on the back side. It gets cut and then goes through the whole shop without any hiccups. But we'll see what happens there.
Let me ask you, put your dad on a plane. You said it was like $2,200 plane ticket for a $150 banner. Yeah. Does that happen like often? Or
no, my guys don't miss, man. My guys, if I have to do that once a quarter, that's a lot. My dad's not on an airplane every week. It's if we really screw up, we make it right. Even if it's in-store crediting it back to customer. You wouldn't believe some of the situations we get put under. People approve the proof, right? The whole, I'm going to approve this thing, but I'm not going to pay for it theory. When they get it, they complain. We have a checks and balances system. We'll take a photo of almost every single job through here to make sure that the I's are dotted and T's are crossed. But there's that one banner that just wasn't approved until 55 banners already went through to production, are boxed, ready to go. That 56th banner got lost, right? And
gotcha.
So we have to make it right and get it to the guy. It happened to be the entrance banner or the podium backdrop for the powerboat race.
Right. Yeah, no, I was just thinking, if you're customer experience is obviously hugely important, but if you're like bending over backwards for every single customer, like
it's every day.
How do you turn a profit?
We don't make any money. We just like to print banners.
Are you comfortable sharing some numbers? Or
I feel like the number situation would size me up. In 2001, when I graduated high school, we couldn't break 1 million. Okay, my dad was in business for, I think he started in 1991, 92, and they couldn't hit that threshold. And it took me
that was
a couple
all
years.
Retail work, though.
That was retail posters. You're going to sell a poster for $8. We were doing a lot of posters, a lot of encapsulation of things. And then we got into the vehicle wrap market, and we still have a few retail customers that I still service. They're legacy accounts. We don't go retail door to door. It's just not, we're not built for that. If somebody calls in, I'll recommend them to a local fast signs or one of my buddies that sends me a decent amount of work. I'll just pass it off to them because I don't want the headache.
Sure.
And
Sorry, Peter. I think it's an Ohio thing to just refer people to fast signs. I'm not sure. I used to do the same thing, TJ.
yeah, these guys, most of the fast signs guys here and some of the other sign shops have the code to get into our side door so they can go pick up their jobs on the pickup shelf. But back to the number deal. It took us a number of years to pass that 1 million mark. 2 was really easy. 3 was difficult. 4 and 5 were COVID. So we're up there past that right now, and it's 9 months in. So I'm very pleased to say that the hard work of the whole staff, the customer service, the designers, everything, the freight train's in motion. And I couldn't do it without the awesome customers we have. The worst thing is when they're used to using Science 365 or Indy or some of these other wholesalers. Okay.
Yeah. That was going to be some of my next questions were like, who are you guys competing with? Like directly head to head with Science 365?
I'm putting in some equipment. This is newly released as of yesterday. We're putting in a couple H5 Vutex and a couple 16 footers. So I'm swinging for the fences, and I'm going to, with this new online ordering and with the stuff that we've been implementing this year, I feel very confident to step up to the plate to 65. I don't drive a silver dually, so please don't blow me up 365. So there's plenty of work out there for all of us, but with the requests that we have been getting, it's faster, higher quality. What limitations do you have, TJ? And I don't want to have many. Cutting out the acrylic portion of things. I want to focus on rigid. I want to focus on banner and mesh and vehicle wraps. Other guys can kind of take on the acrylics and the higher end stuff. I just want to get the lower margin, higher volume runs.
So how do you keep your staff motivated because to deliver the customer experience that you guys are? It's obviously not just you. Like, as you said, it takes an entire team behind you to pull that off. You can't be out there promising the world to your customers and then your staff isn't going to toe the line behind you. How do you keep them motivated and moving forward and focused on the same goal that you are? Because I think a lot of the challenges that every business owner faces, especially right now, is staffing in general, right? And just finding decent employees who are willing to roll up their sleeves and work hard for you and who care about that ultimate goal of making the company money and putting out good service and a good product. How do you're running a high pressure, everything's a rush, we got to bend over backwards and tie ourselves in knots for every one of our customers. How do you keep the staff passionate about that alongside you? How do you keep them motivated and checked in?
Not afraid to get my hands dirty. I've got a kind of a famous line that I came up with, and that was here at this building, maybe at the old shop. If I have to do your job, I don't need you, is one of those lines that I will use if we get behind in work. We've got some really strong team players that will step up, make things happen. They understand that the yellow ticket that's flying through the shop it's hot. It's a grab your attention. We've got the yellow ticket is the golden ticket, right? I don't make a lot of money on that one banner that you might send in and give me 7 to 10 day turn time. We don't have things that sit here for 7 to 10 days. It might only be a 3 to 5 day turn. And we use that for fill-in work. The yellow tickets, the rush tickets, I make a little bit extra rush fees on. Okay. But as far as keeping the employees focused and getting the jobs out the door, perfect example, we've got a job in here right now for company in Lexington, Kentucky. All the UK banners, all the field banners for all UK football are going through the shop. Hey guys, they're going to be here tomorrow morning. I'll go back there and buy each guy a drink or a candy bar out of the vending machine. Hey, if you work through lunch, bust out a little bit early today. You guys were working your butts off. Pick up tomorrow. Last Friday, we all left a little bit early because it was a holiday. We get that 30 to 50,000 square feet out a day in just an 8 or 10 hour day. We're not running 2-3 shifts like some of these other guys are. and we're still making it happen. Treating the employees with respect has been one of my things also. I can't have a guy pounding a grommet making a lot of money. I've been there. I've done it. I've had to pound thousands of grommets 5 days a week. I've been there, done it. Just having respect and earning their respect, I think, is one of the keys to helping be successful in it.
I just can't imagine like every job being for like another sign guy and having that not be like a pressure cooker situation. Or I guess you probably deal with some like marketing agencies and folks like that as well. But I just know the way that I was back in the day when I ran the shop, and I know how discerning Mike is, and I know Mike has been on the other side where he was slinging some wholesale prints as well, but like we're a crusty bunch. We just
my guys, I mean, they sent a banner out. It was, I believe it was like 2,200 inches long. And it was like 180 feet by, what was it, 9.5, 10 foot tall. They forgot to grommet the one whole bottom side, like 2,200 inches. So they forgot to do it. So customer called. He was pretty fired up because they're installing. I'm like, what do you want me to do? I can drive down there and pick it up. What do you want to do? I just gave him an in-store credit on the other job that he has in here, and he was fine with it. But man, some of the stuff I've seen, like we shipped out a pallet and didn't even strap it down, shrink wrapped it. One of the guys just didn't put forth the extra effort. He's not here anymore. Miss Patricia, let him fly.
It sounds like a lot of your jobs are last minute high pressure rush jobs, which is typical in the area of the industry that you operated in. Is it, do you have a lot of redos and mistakes that you have to fix and catch on the fly just because of the rush nature of the job, or is that pretty rare for you guys?
We make more mistakes when we're slow.
Interesting.
That's a very interesting statement.
It's when we're slow, we have to think about it. When we are hammered, the jobs just go through and they flow well. I compare ourselves to a fast food restaurant, not a high-end sit-down meal. We will have, I think UPS typically picks up somewhere around 150 to 200 boxes a day. That one box could have 50 banners in it. So, these guys, if they mess up one order a day, first off, it's not acceptable, but we can anticipate with the package count, the amount of work that we're putting out. We might double print one banner to where there might have been an A and a B art. That would make it through the shop, but the art room prints out an A and a B proof sheet, but maybe the customer only approved A. So whose fault is it? We don't make all the mistakes. Some of the customers will own up to it. Some of the customers just blame it all on us, and that's when they don't come back. I'm that crusty wholesale printer that will tell a customer, hey, you were wrong. And some of these guys don't accept, hey, I was slightly wrong in this. No, it's GCI's fault. It is.
The customer's not always right.
Correct.
I always like it when somebody says that out loud.
And not to throw rocks at where I've had the most trouble out of people, but the northeastern corner of the United States, those people tend to be the most the roughest to work with. Not to point fingers.
Cease and desist letter from the whole Northeast now.
Right. Now I've got some really good buddies up there. Chris DeFeo, Tamir. There's a lot of guys up there that I've done work with, and Chris has called me. I've been mowing my grass, shoot the shit with him. That's the whole thing. I'm wholesale to the trade, but it's funny the amount of wholesalers that I deal with and the relationship that I have with these guys. I help a lot of people out, and a lot of people help me out when it all comes down to it. Like, I've called Chris up asking for advice. It's wild. I got involved in the Cincinnati Reds All-Star game. tug oar with Blue Media. It's a wild experience. I needed help on an install. He's like, hey, TJ, just do it this way. And actually, my installers are done. They're going to help you out. This dude's my competitor. This dude's a monster in the industry. And he just is helping me do something I've never done before. Okay. I appreciate the help. And I helped them out yesterday at the Great America, or down at Paul Brown Stadium, the old one. Helped them on an install yesterday. So it's the good old boys club in the wholesale world. The guys that aren't in the big inner circle, I'll talk to any of them. I'll give them all pointers. We're to a stage now to where if we don't all help each other get through it, we're going to fail.
Sure. So you guys said that you have launched or are just launching online ordering for clients?
So we've got a new system that's getting ready to be released here to where it's very similar to the other guys, where it's the online proofing and it goes straight to the rip. We wanted to bypass some things, how some people have ordered from B2 or Science 365 to where, oh man, that experience is so cool. Okay. I've, over the last 5 years, have probably changed 2 to 3 software companies. I've gone to 2 or 3 different ones. I actually removed myself from that whole side of things, and that's one of my dad's projects I put him on. Like day-to-day operation, he's still here every single day. I want to focus on the sales and the production and the like acquiring of equipment, stuff like that. And I've put him pretty much on he is not IT savvy at all. He can barely turn on his cell phone, but I've got him working with a couple of our internal people and with some outside help to get this thing moving. It's very close. You'll be able to order any size banner, any quantity of the size. Automatically picks up if it's low res, and it'll shoot this isn't going to work type of email. And we're trying to make it so simple that my dad can do it.
Nice. So prior to this, were you guys using like online ordering as well? Or like how were most of the orders coming in? Or
So
how do most of the orders come in, I guess?
So we used to operate off of job tickets, and that just got out of hand. Now we're using CoreBridge currently, and pretty decent software.
Pete's got CoreBridge, I think.
Pretty decent.
CoreBridge too. Guess what? Fast Signs uses CoreBridge.
It's pretty good. One thing that I have been begging CoreBridge to do, and I actually saw him down at the Atlanta show prior to the gentleman passing, the owner. I asked them to, when you build an estimate in CoreBridge, it doesn't automatically send out. So the opportunities of all of the estimates that we do daily, if we don't pick up the phone, call each opportunity, it's lost. It's stuck in the software. It doesn't automatically send it out. And that's a huge flag for me with CoreBridge. I can't call every single customer that we've sent an estimate to. One banner might be, we have a $50 minimum. I might have a $50 estimate. I might have a $50,000 estimate. Which one am I going to call? The 50,000. And I lose track of the $50 jobs. So I'm trying to get those to where it's the easy online ordering.
Sure. But what percentage are like through email now, and what percentage are online? Is it all through like email?
I would say,
or like call. I'm assuming they're just, even if you talk to them on the phone, they're sending you an email with the files and the details of the job, right?
Most of it's 60. It's probably 60%, 70%. So you do the estimate, you convert it with the CoreBridge thing. It walks its way through the system if they know how to use it and they use it properly. We still get, I'm going to say 70% old fashioned way, where they send over the email, send over the artwork. We have to send the estimate, process the order, and they don't want to really mess with it. So we're still trying to train our customers how we need to accept the orders to help them out, because staffing, we had 12 people in the front office pre-COVID. I had 4 people that did nothing but make phone calls, telemarketing to all the sign shops nationwide. I can't get 4 people to come into work. It's me, Patricia, and 3 other people in the front office right now. So majority of our sales is still the old fashioned way.
And is that causing stress for you guys, or like, what was the point where you're like, hey, I want this other system in place? What was the tipping point? Like, where were you at? What was the time period? How long ago was it?
So I said 5 years ago, let's see. We might have been working on this project for the last 8 years. It's not that I don't want to spend time on a $50 or $100 order, but I think it's wasting my time. I don't want to say it's wasting my time. That guy that's placing that $50 or that $100 order is a regular customer, knows how to send it over. He should be able to place the order online without calling and asking for that estimate every single day. You know what my cost is, but we're going to get it done. Just send it over. I've actually passed some of the smaller things off to Mark, who's in the front office, so that way I can focus on the larger, more profitable projects. But I would say we've been battling this for 6-7 years.
Gotcha. Yeah, in my experience, given the opportunity, customers will self-serve. If you've got, hey, this is how I've always worked with TJ and the crew, and they're fine with that. That could be a headache trying to onboard them to this new system.
And that's something that some of these other guys, they don't offer. You can't pick up the phone and call and ask for TJ, Mark, Patricia. Our whole experience is we want to be the good old boys. I'll talk to anybody on the phone, and I'm not going to hurry up and let them off. I'd like when my people call and ask for a sign shop, the point of contact there. Oh, they're out. Whatever. We try to find out, hey, what's their birthday? Did they just have a kid? And we try to build off of that relationship. We'll send them a pacifier. We'll send them a newborn outfit. You know, if they're a Pittsburgh fan, we'll send them a Cincinnati Bengals t-shirt. And actually, with the boys over at Fire Sprint, James and those guys, I took the bus. I don't know if you guys saw that, in that rusty bus.
The rusty bus, yeah. We shared the picture, or I saw the picture. We'll make sure we add it to the show notes as well.
You watch the movie, Cousin Eddie. I'm so Cousin Eddie. Cousin Eddie isn't even Cousin Eddie. We roll in anywhere, and it's just a magnet for people. But James and those boys over at Fire Sprint, we were friendly betting because they're so close to Kansas City. And I actually made a bet with them, and that reminds me, I need to get them all some GCI hats because I never sent them all GCI hats to put on and take a picture of. They were in the middle of their move, and I think it's time. I think they've had plenty of time. I'm going to be sending them some hats. But, yeah.
I like that. I'm always preaching that your competitors aren't your enemies, right? You never know when they're going to need help from you or you're going to need help from them. And I got bailed out more than a few times by some of my competitors, and I'm thankful every day for them because they help contribute to my success. And I think a lot of shops lose sight of that, and they see the competition as the enemy, and you're at war with them. And it's too small of an industry for that.
Yeah.
You never know when you're going to need somebody's help.
Correct. And how many times have we ran out of ink because we're running all weekend, and I've called, hey, Sport Graphics up in Indy. Hey, you guys have a couple cyans? Yeah, no problem. Come up and get them. And they know, a lot of these people in the industry know if they need a part, if they need my machine time, something, just give me a call. I'm more than willing to help out. That's what makes the world go around.
Do like your clients, do they also purchase from like Science 365 and some of these others that are like hands off? Yeah, I don't think I've ever talked to anybody at Science 365, but I used to order from them a lot.
Could be the new Science 365 rep. Their phone number is 513-521-7446. Give me a call.
But do the customers that you deal with, do they prefer your good old boy approach, and that's why they're coming to you guys? Or is it?
I think it's like the pricing game. They might send a project to 365 because that $10 flat rate shipping, or they might be cheaper on one item, but then I might get their mesh work, or I might get their banner work. So, like I said in the beginning, I've got a niche: banner, mesh, Coro, some flatbed stuff, right? They have their own niche. I have my own niche. I don't know how they're doing the $10 flat rate and making any money, but it is what it is. I know that they've got to be building it into their front end price of their banner. We're we're very aggressive on our banner and mesh pricing. They're a little bit higher. If you do the math, ours is still less money than what they're doing, but people like to see that $10 thing. Whatever. They can't call and talk to a live body there like they can here. So I think the good old boy club, it does help. Does help significantly.
Who is your ideal client or customer?
My ideal customer would be a print broker or a signed guy that may be struggling to find employees to help in their shop, might have to upgrade equipment soon, struggling to get the jobs out the door. They call, they just know it's going to get done. That's my ideal customer. The people that have the machines that try to do the stuff and then it's, oh, we can't get it all done in this time frame. Let's just send it to GCI and we'll pay a rush fee and have it done tomorrow. I'm not going to say that's not my optimal customer, but I make money off of them. But they turn the wheelbarrow. We're trying to streamline things, and then that one rush job, we might have to swap out materials just to get that one job out. It's not the optimal customer that I want, but we take them.
Sure.
Do you give your current wholesale customers any type of access to your wholesale print list?
So with printgci.com, basically, actually, you're a Fast Signs customer? You're a
I've used you before, yeah.
Okay. So the Fastlane ordering system, driven specifically for Fast Signs organization. The Fastlane, you can go on there and we have, I think it's five items that are our sweet spot that we felt that any Fast Signs could go on there, order at a wholesale price. The list, the pricing's in there. You put your size and it's there. We don't have a menu for square foot pricing, if that's what your question was. It's just,
well, it's been a question that I've talked about here in this group on this podcast before about how few of our sign shop owners out there actually have the guts to ask. That's one. Two, the time to actually take a wholesale pricing and then build out. You have Corbridge, so building Corbridge products with a wholesaler in mind.
yeah. So the pricing structure's changed like almost weekly anymore. So we're going over under right now. I might lose a little bit on one job to where another job I'll make it back up. The Corbridge is to go in there and change the pricing structure. You have so many line items and so many cells to fill in. It's not the easiest thing. And that's where the old fashioned way, I've got it in the back of my head where we can do it for and still get away with that over under part. $1.25 for mesh or banner. I'm losing a little bit because the pricing of the scrim, the mesh might have cost us a little bit more, but we are now back to ordering it from overseas containers. So right now we've got five containers of mesh and banner on the water.
Okay.
Are the current supply chain issues wreaking havoc on your business in general, or are you guys pretty insulated from it just with the volume you do and the quantity of material you order at a time?
I go through a pallet of 3M every couple days, and they're the 300-foot rolls of CV3, and there was a couple times where we were almost out. And when I say almost, we're down to our last pallet, and then the truck backs up to the door. But I was sweating it a little bit because in our business, we have to have vehicles printed ahead of time for the installers, because if the installer gets the vehicle there, that whole chain of organization up to that graphic kit coming for the installation of that rep, it might have taken the installer 5 tries to get this guy to bring his semi truck to their location to get it installed. So if we miss that window of opportunity, it's not good.
Sure.
But the supply chain issues, I know we ran into a couple issues with Grimco. They ran out of some material at one point. Millcraft had it. So you can't have all of your eggs in one basket. And I feel that's the same way a lot of these guys feel with the wholesale side of things, is they don't want to put all their eggs in one basket. And I don't blame them, but they do need to order more from me than the other guy. It's just it feeds the family.
Is there something specific about GCI? Maybe it's about you, maybe it's about your team, but is there something specific that you do in regards to the customer experience that they just can't get anywhere else? Do you pay a lot of attention to what the customer's experience is, knowing that most of your customers are sign shop owners? What is it specifically that comes to mind that really paints a picture of why should I use you? What is it that's different than anything else?
I feel that there's no excuse for failure type of approach. When a sign shop owner places an order with us, I feel that the customer experience, they know that it's going to get done. They can go home that night after they place the order. They can go home and they can sit down with their family, not working throughout the night. And the job will get there. If it was a rush job, it'll get there by 10:30 the next morning, UPS, stress-free. That's the approach that we've had. The process that my team has put in place is to make it so much easier for the customers to just want to rely on us. Big or small, GCI does it all. That motto, we'll get it done. Just email it over, get it to me. Lincoln from Fast Signs Brick. Lincoln, he calls and he's, TJ, I've got this mesh job. I need it done. Okay, just send it over. That's the whole conversation. Just wanting that reinsurance.
So it's the guy in your pocket feel. Is that what you're feeling? It's that I'm the sign shop owner. You're a sign shop owner. The focus is to get the job done, and the easiness of getting in touch with your team is what keeps me actively giving you orders because of how simple it is.
Correct. And the personalization that we give to the sign shop owners. For example, you place a mesh banner order with us for a baseball field. Okay. And the line that I tell my whole staff is, if they're asking for a 6-foot tall mesh banner, please ask them what size the fence is. Number one, if it's a 6-foot tall fence, you don't want the mesh banner to go from top to bottom. You want that little bit of a gap for stretching the zip ties. I can give you a better deal at 5 foot. Okay. You go online and you type that 6 foot, nobody's going to ever ask that question. We'll give the industry insight over the phone, and that helps everybody in the end. Because I can run 2 up at 5 foot on a 10-foot roll versus a 6 foot 1 up on the roll. Saves everybody money at the end of the day.
Very true. Very true. I had just one follow-up question here for you. And this is, I guess it's maybe not a question, but it speaks to your sentiment about what we were discussing earlier. And that's, I gave you, I guess it was sometime last year, you had done a very large order for my Fast Signs job, but it was a little different than what I was normally used to. The experience was very different from the previous vendor I was using. So I had this customer, this school that wanted 1,200 lawn signs, graduation signs. You know what that was like. Like during COVID, every kid's got their photo and their name, and every parent was buying one for their kid, right? So we had a lot of those orders, and I had this one order from this one school, said, I need this in the next week. We hadn't ordered these yet. So my manager reached out to you and said, hey, is this something that you can do? And you said, hey, not only can I do it, just give me the template and give me the photos and give me their names, and I'm going to set up this file for you. I'm going to get it out here tomorrow. Now, once that was approved, of course, by the manager here, but the fact that you took that extra step, that to me is your secret sauce, is that I sense that you're doing that a lot with your customer. Would I be correct in making that assumption?
Delivering every job is very important. I'm going to be very bold by saying this. I've never overpromised and underdelivered. I believe your manager I can't remember if it's that job or if it was a job for Frankie out of Chicago. There's two orders that kind of cross paths mentally. I believe that's the one that I said that I would throw in my enclosed trailer and deliver, if I remember correctly. But I could be wrong. The 1200 lawn sign. I'm pretty sure. I don't know. We printed so many damn signs like that last year.
I bet that one order feeds into the next. But for me, in my perspective, I've used your shop a couple of times after that because of how wonderful that experience was. But when we're talking about the customer experience from a sign shop owner's perspective, which is your majority of your clientele.
That's my customers.
Right?
Yep.
Right. When we're talking about that, the biggest thing for me, and this is, I guess, going to speak true to what you were saying, is that you went that extra step. You heard about the timeline. I said I need it by next week, and then you reverse engineered it. If I have to wait for you to send me 1,200 art files, right? Because that's what you would need to do. I can't promise you anything. I can't promise you anything other than a price today on how to get that done for you and your timeline. Yeah. I can't remember the name of the woman who my manager was dealing with. It was a woman on your staff.
Probably Miss Patricia.
Miss Patricia. Okay.
Yep. Probably Miss Patricia.
Hats off to Miss Patricia for making that like an incredible experience. So I guess the logic there was that you backwards engineered it. You heard the timeline. You said, this is what I need in order to get this done for you. This is what I'm willing to do for you in order to meet that deadline. And it doesn't just mean delivery. It was, I'm going to set up these art files for you. Give me that CSV file. Give me that Excel spreadsheet. Give me that Google Drive with 1,200 photos in it, and we'll take care of it. And then a day or two later, you sent it over to us, and we had a satisfied client. And that, to me, is the relationship that I love about wholesalers and sign shop owners. We're all sign shop owners, but the ones that do a bang-up job are the ones that only care about the end user. That seems to be what your philosophy is, that you don't overpromise and underdeliver, but kudos to you for really focusing on the school's needs, not the sign shop owner's needs or the end user's needs, because I think that's what's going to, if there was one way in one sentence I can make that really separates you from any other wide format wholesale printer out there, is that's what you care about most. Care about the end user getting what they need. More than the customer, more so than the vendor, meaning us, or the sign shop owner making a profit or getting their customer happy. You just want that customer to get what they want, and that to me is really what GCI is all about.
Yep.
That if you can put it into one sentence, is that we don't care about the sign shop owner, we care about your customer. That would be the way I would explain it.
Yep.
But maybe not in such a New York way of saying it.
Peter also does copywriting for websites on the weekends if you need a guy.
No, I really appreciate
Content
that.
Creation.
My team will be very pumped when this podcast comes out. They will love to hear that story. It means a lot.
Let me ask you, that brings up Peter's story, kind of brings up something that I was thinking of, but like, how are you going to replicate that with your online ordering?
So with the online ordering, I'm going to staff a couple people to review every single order. And if there's something that's out of the ordinary, they will be called. Yes, it's supposed to be hands-free, paperless type. But when I feel like when that process gets there, it's going to be more headaches. So I want personalization still on those orders. If there's a typo or something like that, it needs to be caught. A sign shop's not going to be able to eat 1,200 signs that they only put one PDF and it was supposed to be 1,500 PDFs. That online system isn't smart enough for that. So I want my team to, okay, there's 1,500 signs. There's supposed to be 1,500 individual artworks. Where's the art? We only have one PDF. Oh man, something must have happened. There's that. I can afford to lose $50, but I can't afford to lose 1,500 on a bunch of orders. You know what I'm saying? I want to make sure that every single job is as perfect as they can be. But that 50 or that 100 might, it's just going to go through the system. I want them to just double check some and just make sure you know who your customers are that will send over the good stuff, right? It's the ones that send over the kind of questionable jobs from time to time that you have to double check their work.
Yeah. Hey, who did you build this system for yourself, or did you have somebody build it for you?
We have had 5 people internally that have done some software stuff. I don't have all of that knowledge. Like I said, my dad has tackled that. We've gone through so many different software. I don't know where we're at and who we're using currently.
Why have you gone through so many different ones?
Because of some didn't integrate with CoreBridge, some didn't integrate with QuickBooks, some of them didn't have. This was the best one. So we spent like a year and a half, and we found out that when we started out with Passero, and they had a limitation on banner sizes, so customer couldn't order over a 5x10 banner. I'm like, that's not going to fly, dude. He's like, we can't expand it any larger. So CoreBridge adapted with us, and we've had them the longest. But some of the other ones that we used, they were more of a paper printer to where it was built by sheets, and with it being built by rolls. So where we're using master rolls of 750 feet in length, and a sign shop or a printer might have 150 foot roll. It doesn't work for us. And then they're used to building it at 60 inch, where ours are 126 or 196 here soon. That's where a lot of, however Science 365 did it, and however B2 did it, hats off to them. They were the first in the market. 8-10 years worth of trying to, I'm not going to say copy them, because we're trying to make ours better. And we've stuck with the same model over the last 10 years. We just want simple. We want a guy to be able to go size, quantity, here's the artwork, order, boom. Drop shipping is a must. And estimating the freight. We got all the way through this last software package. I think I spent almost $275,000 on the software package, and the guy told us we can't estimate weight and sizes of the package. I'm like, what do you mean? You're just going to have to do a standardized shipping. And I'm like, well, that's what the other guy does. $10 a box. But I'm not going to lose $20 every box, $30 every box. I want it to be accurate. So that way there's a percentage on markup on shipping. And man, that was the last go around. And then there was another, we tried the Fiery EFI software. We're moving down the road from that one. But
it sounds like a headache to me. That's what it sounds like.
That's why I stepped away from it. I wanted to focus on what I do best, and that's getting orders in, getting them delivered, making the customer happy. Dad, your job, I need this website up quickly. And
okay, Dad. There you go.
And that's his project.
Shots fired.
That's his project. And he still doesn't have it up. Still doesn't have it up. 10 years.
All right. So for our listeners out there who follow TJ on all these sign shop talks and other Facebook groups and things like that, me being one of them, I have to ask. I'm going to ask for the users that are out there that are afraid to ask, what is up with the rusty bus? Where did that idea come from? What is that all about? Tell me. I need to know.
All right. So that rusty bus is a joke. Craig Snowden, he's out of Indiana. We were on the sign shop talk, and he said something about, hey, here's Cousin Eddie. I'm going to be at Fort Wilderness over Christmas. And I'm like, no shit. I'm going to be there too. And he was like, let's see who has the better looking campsite. I'm like, oh, okay. And so we called each other on the phone. I said, what are you going to do? And he's like, I want to put some decals on my truck, and I'm going to make a big Cousin Eddie. Freaking sweet. I'm like, all right, I've got the perfect plan. So Jeff Rowland is one of my designers, and he and I sat down, and he goes, what do you want to do? I said, here's a picture. Make it happen. I leave on Thursday. That was Friday afternoon. That was Friday afternoon. So I had the RV here at the shop. And so Jeff started dropping files Monday morning. By Thursday, the bus was done. And I'm like, Jeff, I need some wood grain for the side of the Expedition. And he goes, you're doing that too? Friday, I hurried up before we left, wrapped the Expedition with some wood grain, make it look like Clark Griswold's The Family Truckster. It's one of my favorite movies of all times. And so I sent a teaser picture to Craig, and he was like, you've got to be kidding me. So he told a couple people what was coming. And then I sent a video to my buddy Matt Myrick that owns Busted Knuckle Films on YouTube. He posted it up with, before I hit the Florida Georgia line, there was almost 5 million views on TikTok and on YouTube. And it was just, I looked at Heather and Jeff called me and we're like, we made something really wild and crazy. And the amount of people that are checking this thing out, it's making everybody smile. So that was our approach. We did it to make people smile. It was a joke. We wanted to have the best looking campsite at Fort Wilderness. And with all of the tools that I have here, we did it. And I think we're going to hold that title until I remove the wrap off. There's not another wrap that's as crazy. It's a 2014 Fleetwood Discovery that my wife makes really good money and she's the one that bought it. But I'm just a dumb sign guy. It's created an identity and the kids even love it. And so when we go down to Fort Wilderness, there's some videos that I sent to you guys and it shows when Craig was doing the drone shots and just checking it out. He looked at me, he goes, this thing is getting so much attention. I said, I'm doing it for the industry, dude. I have a little small QR code on the back corner of the bus. It says GCI, printed by GCI. And I've got our Instagram for that rusty bus and the Facebook thing. I didn't do it. I didn't want it to be like a huge marketing campaign for GCI. I wanted it to be, holy shit, we can make beautiful RVs look like shit or shitty RVs look beautiful. And I hope that the wrap world is capitalizing on this. I think there's Chad out of Fast Lane out in Illinois. He's doing some really cool work. Jamie, the wrap artist, killer work. There's so many like vehicle wrap people. It's an art. The big thing with that rusty bus right now is all these RVers that have the $1.5 million coaches. I'm going to call them Karens because they don't want that in their RV resorts because it looks like shit in their mind. It's art. It fits the year. It's art. You can't kick me out because it's physically, it hits all the requirements. Yes, it's sort of patinaed, but yeah, it's fun. It's definitely holding the title for the most photographed RV on the planet right now. So Fleetwood Discovery or Fleetwood RV.
Are you gonna try to top yourself eventually, or are you just gonna wait till somebody else comes along and knocks you off the throne to reclaim?
So version 2 isn't going to be on the same bus. I'm thinking about the next one, what version 2 is going to be. But with it getting close to the age requirement for some of the RV parks, we have to upgrade the next year or two because it's 10 years or older. So we're at the 8-year mark. But yeah,
I know nothing about the RV world. So
when you come to Cincinnati, I'll just take you a ride in it. You'll have to put the robe on and go pump some gas. But no, you guys have to check it out. It's That Rusty Bus on Facebook and the family. We really appreciate all of the smiles going down the road. It's unbelievable. So
that's awesome.
But
has anybody ever touched it and thought it was real?
Dude, it's if you don't walk by it and not touch it, I think there's something wrong with you. Like everybody walks by because it did just win. Where's that at? I had an extra copy. I don't know what they did with it, but it just won like best wrap in the Signs of the Times magazine, and it's on their website and stuff. What Jeff did was he took and made everything look so real, and 40 plus hours in design time was spent on it. So
Remarkable.
Yeah.
Remarkable.
Yep.
Yeah, I love it, man. It's great.
So we're talking, Heather and I are actually talking about traveling with the kids, and I will actually want to, we've got a map planned out. We want to see some of the customers, and we headed up to the sign show up at Indy. A couple of my employees and I, we jumped in it, took it up there and parked it out in front of the hotel. But we're going to do a sign shop visit tour, and I feel that that would be pretty sweet to roll out in front of a sign shop and just see that wild ass thing sitting out in front. Some of these guys probably won't know what to expect.
Make sure you come to the Northeast, okay? Make sure
We
you
actually
part of your trip.
We plan on it. It's just we have
He's
to.
going to pull it up in front of your shop, Pete.
I'm going to pull it up.
I can use the publicity.
He's going to block the street.
Do you have a sewer drain out front?
Yeah, of course I do.
Shitters.
I really do. Yeah, why?
Not before. I'm going to drop the tank right in front of your shop. No.
In his bathrobe.
In my bathrobe with the hat, drinking a beer, Bush Light.
And a cigar.
And a cigar. No, we do plan on coming up there and checking that northeastern area out. Hopefully you guys will accept us up there. So
Nice.
That's awesome.
no, we appreciate it. It's been fun, and the whole print side thing, that's my escape. But we just put the Starlink on, and now I have to work everywhere I go. There's no excuse.
Yeah.
There's no excuse to get away.
That's not fun. Well, I've really enjoyed this interview, TJ. I appreciate you coming on, man. For
Yeah, thank you,
everybody
TJ.
out there that doesn't know you or GCI yet, how can they find you? How can they contact you?
They can reach out TJ at GCI-digital.com. They can go to printgci.com. They can search us on the internet, GCI, Badass Banner Dude. Look at, if you're on any of the sign shop forums, just ask who they need to print with. And
If I type in Badass Banner Dude, does that come up with you guys?
no.
Oh.
Actually,
I was
Jeff,
going to say, I would be putting that on my business card. Just
Jeff's-
Google Badass Banner Dude.
Jeff's email address was, Miss Patricia, what was that? Badass. It was like Badass Designer or something like that. He made it up. And like Badass Designer or at GCI-digital.com or something like that. He actually, it was one of those bets with a buddy of his. And he's, yeah, dude, you got a cat walking on your desk.
I do.
Is that a tiger?
She looks like it. Yeah, that's one of my three.
At least she didn't shit on the desk this time.
Yeah, no, that's legit. She has like irritable bowel syndrome, and she's had some accidents like on my keyboard. I've had to replace a keyboard before. You just can't clean that out.
Shit happens. Shit happens.
She's something else.
If anybody's wanting to come visit, I strongly suggest it. That 25-cent tour that we were all joking about at the beginning.
The nickel tour.
The nickel tour. So when we went down to the Atlanta sign show, I made a comment to my dad, and my son actually was the one that brought it up. He goes, Papa Tom, we have more equipment than the sign show does. And I looked over at my kid. He's 12 years old. And I'm like, dude, you're not joking. It's impressive to see 5 latex machines running, 2 big Vutex, and then we got the new 10 by 10 Kongsberg. So watching those things run still to this day, like when I walk out there, I'm amazed. So if anybody's in the Cincinnati area, I highly suggest coming in, taking your kids to Cincinnati Zoo, Museum, or whatever here in Cincinnati, and coming up for 10 minutes just to check it out. I'll buy you some lunch or something.
Next time
Beer.
I'm in Dayton visiting family, man, I'll definitely haul down there and check
Please
out the
do.
shop and visit for sure. I definitely want to do that.
Will you do some collections up in Dayton for me about what we talked about before?
Dude,
use this.
I left Ohio because I'm sick of doing collections in Dayton.
Right?
I don't think there's enough money on this planet.
No, but yeah, we'd love that. I want everybody to print with us, man, at least one time. If we're not doing what I've strived for and put into effect, by all means, try somebody else. Once you're in, I think it's one of those deals.
Yeah,
We treat everybody like
oh, go ahead. Yeah.
we treat everybody like family. You're not an employee. You're a family member, team member. I don't like to use the word customer. We're all a team.
Cool. Your reputation definitely precedes you. Thanks again for joining us, TJ.
Yep.
Appreciate
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank
I
you, TJ.
appreciate it. Thank
Been
you.
fun.
Sounds good.
All right.
See you guys.
So let's bring this one to a close. Rapid fire takeaways. Peter, he's here this week.
Listen, if I want to talk a little bit about the customer experience, that man does a lot of really great things. That business does a lot of really great things as far as customer experience goes. So I think my biggest takeaway here from today is just another perspective of what somebody else thinks of customer experience. It doesn't necessarily have to be systems or SOPs. It could be just getting the job done, focusing on the end user and what they need and getting it done. It was refreshing to hear just how simple, black and white, a very big shop, a very big operation looks at customer experience. We often think about customer experience being like, all right, did they get that email? Did we respond quickly? Did we shoot them a reminder text? Are we being competitive with pricing? It just doesn't even have to be that complicated. He simplified it in this little interview. I love that it's just, hey, let's just get the job done. By all means necessary.
Simple and honest. Mike.
Yeah, I agree. Love is like his good old boy club that he's building there. Like Peter said, like everybody's trying to automate everything. And not that there's not a place for that. I think the automation is key to efficiency and profit and making it in this job. It's critical. But I like that he's not putting all his eggs in that basket and he's not turning his back on having a personal relationship with his clients. And if you watch him interact with everybody on the social media channels, it is a good old boys club. And he is buddies with everybody, every one of his clients that he's buddies with. And I don't think any amount of systems or processes or automation or fancy websites or anything else can replace that one-on-one personal relationship that you have with a crusty sign guy who has walked a few miles in your shoes and knows exactly what it's like to be in your boat. And I don't think you can get that experience from just placing an order on a website, a faceless website without a person. So I love that he's trying to combine technology and modern efficiency with old school business tactics and just going out there and shaking hands and interacting with people and being buddies with people and building friendships. And at the end of the day, I don't really think there's any more way to have a solid killer business than being close with your customers. I think it's great.
110%. Yeah. Especially the market they're in. It's all based on relationships. The sign world is a small one. It's a large industry, but everybody knows each other. We're all connected through the 7 degrees of TJ, I guess. But yeah,
he's the Kevin Bacon of the sign industry. That's awesome.
There you go. You're just spitting out nicknames left and right. Yeah, we struggle for you, my man.
Yeah, why can't we get one for me? But dude, he's 7 degrees of TJ.
But yeah,
I wish he was still on the call for that. That's awesome.
But anyway, I think systems and processes have their place, but like you guys have said, there's no substitute for having that consultative approach with customers, even though he didn't explicitly say that. Okay, we're act as consultants for our clients, but that's essentially what he's doing or what he described. And for that ballpark job where it's like, hey, how tall is the fence? It's a 5 foot fence. Why are we printing a 5 foot banner? Yeah.
Yeah, he did mention that. And you want to know, maybe I was just reading behind the scenes here a little bit, like in between the lines when it comes to what he was saying or what he was trying to imply, but he's got all this equipment, and And I've seen the videos, I've seen pictures of like his new equipment arriving, but I don't think the motivation for purchasing new equipment comes from like having that shiny new toy. I think he literally looks at it like, now I can print, now my customers, my sign shop owner customers can now print 10-foot wide banners, right? And he's going to be the vehicle for how that's getting done. When he posts a new piece of equipment, I feel like he's putting it out there for all of his potential buddies or clients to say, I'm still your guy, and now not only am I your guy, I'm able to do this for you as well. And maybe there's something in the back of everyone's head when they're buying that kind of piece of equipment. But a lot of us are buying that for the affair of what could be. He's doing it to solve a problem. I get the opinion that he's doing it to solve a problem with his sign shop customer. He said it himself. He wants to be better than Signs 365. He wants to be better than B2. And these are the ways that he's thinking that he's going to be better.
Yeah. And you know what? Like, he may never build quite as big a business as B2 or Sign 365 based on that, because I think there's probably like a natural ceiling to how much you can scale if you want to have that close personal relationship with every single one of your customers. Right? You just can't do it if you're printing for every single sign shop on the planet. But I think he's probably going to generate probably more profit in the long run, because he is like family to these people, and that's a huge thing. And he's not hurting. His business is doing pretty well regardless, but I love his approach. I'm excited to see people that still take the approach that he does and recognize that the personal relationships are never going to go away, and that's ultimately the most important thing in this industry, especially wholesale.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm curious to check in on him in 6 months from now and see how the online ordering piece has gone, and if they've been able to replicate some of that personalized feel that they provide with that system.
Yeah, I'm really anxious to see how that goes for him as well. I hope it works, and I hope they figure out how to not lose that personal touch in it as well.
All right, guys. Great episode.
Go us.
If you're interested in being a guest on the podcast, make sure you shoot us an email at hey@bettersignshop.com. Frank Fellers, we're putting the call out for you, dude. We'd love to have you on the podcast. If you guys know Frank, if you're listening, tell him we want Frank Fellers on the podcast. What's the website we set up? talktomefrank.com.
talktomefrank.com.
Wait, that's a real site?
Oh yeah, and it's amazing. You need to look at it. It's worth your time.
I thought you were just splurting out ideas last night when you're like, that's it, we're going on blast. Oh my God. Okay. Talk to me, Frank. Talk to me, baby.
If you liked this episode, make sure you hit subscribe to get all the latest episodes, and check out our website, bettersignshop.com. Get free resources and helpful tools on growing your shop. Thanks for listening.